Give us a big picture piece of advice that would make us better fishermen.
Ooh. Very broad. Study the species you're going to get, and so know the season, you know, what tackle to use, and take that and persist with that until you master a species. I think that's always a good thing, rather than trying to tackle everything at once.
How do you make use of the fish finder?
Well, you use the sounder to find your, well, we call it a sounder or fish finder, to locate your bait and then the predators around them. If you're finding bait, great. If you're finding bait with bigger arches around it, even better. I'm using a diving lure here, so what I'm doing, I'm in about 10 metres of water, which is about 33 feet for you guys in the States, and the fish are about halfway down, and that's where I've got my lure. But what I'm also doing, because I can get clear of the back of the boat, if I see a snag, I can not only turn the boat just gently this way, I can put my rod on that side. If I need to go on the left-hand side of it, I just flick my rod over like that. And that way I can really steer the rod through the snags and through the past the predators as close as possible. So I can really do that. And once you get used to the Hobies, it's really comfortable and easy, and you can really work the bait quite nicely and quietly.
You try to have at least a 4-foot tidal difference between high tide and low tide, so there'll be a lot of current. And when there's current, there's a better chance the fish will be active and eat. And here, I can see this now. We're fishing the tide, and we get a lot of current. So we should be able to get more fish than if there's a slack tide.
One of the most important things I find with kayaking is to work into the wind or current. That way you can control the speed. If you're going with the flow and you're facing that way, it's very hard to slow down. But when you're working into it, it's just a matter of pushing forward when you need to. And the other thing about it is you throw your lure or your bait upwind or up current and bring it down. And that's the way the fish like to take it, because it's coming straight towards them. An easy meal, just like their natural tucker would.
Yeah, the key thing with this area here, when you're popping a carp like this, the key thing when you pop it, you want to give it about 3 or 4 seconds in that zone. Because what happens, the fish comes to that noise. There's a lot of pogies in this area and shad that are popping on top of the water, and they'll make a little noise, and the fish are attracted to that. So if you say pop in this carp and you pull out it too quick, you pull out the strike zone. So the game is typically 16 inches a leader, a little 1/4 ounce jig head, a little popping carp, and just make a little pop, let it pause. Sometimes the extra 3 or 4 seconds of pausing it, it'll give them time to locate that bait and make it productive. And you'll be like Jackie.
See this little guy right here? This little guy right here, called OK. Sends an email, lines them up to Google Earth, zeroes in right here, gives them the longitude, latitude, drive all my friends nuts because they find out we're shooting in Australia, filming in Australia, catching fish here. Can't beat it. Makes them crazy. If you need a little help, but you're not in trouble, you hit help. Sends a different message to your friends that say, you know, I've screwed up, I'm out of gas. The big button, 911, don't touch it unless you're ready to die. That would send, here in Australia, it would send whoever your rescue people are, it would automatically send them an email, give them our coordinates, longitude, latitude, and they would be flying here whatever service you have, like you know, our Coast Guard, our Fish and Game, those kind of people. Works all over the world.
The first time I saw the Mirage Drive, I was fascinated by it, and it's just got better every time. But one thing I was worried about is going over shallow water. I thought the pedals stick way down, you're going to get bogged on the sand, but nothing could be further from the truth. You could do little props, get them up on the side and go over water that skinny. And what I found you can also do, timber like this, you can get through it. Obviously you don't want to hit a big log at speed and bend the flippers, but stuff like this, no problem. Straight through. Bit of brush cutting along the way. They're tough.
What I will try to do is to find their hiding places. It's a territorial fish. They will defend their own area. And just because they've already been fed up. You can try a few techniques. of more of an aggressive move on the lure. So always the best way to fish on pike is to see, okay, if you have a certain area, get over the whole area where they could be. You don't always have to be that far from the boat, because the pike will lay down and watch you already for 50 meters or something. But just to have the lure in the water will attract them already and make them aggressive, because they will defend their own territory with anything that will come in.
Do you favor any model of Hobie over another?
My favourite would be, all round, would be the Revo, just because you've got that speed and you can still turn tight, and it's my favourite all-round model. They like the room, they like how it handles. For me, definitely the Revo, the Sport, if I'm fishing tight water. And yeah, I love the little Sport just because it's so compact, and for tight water, that's my favourite. I mean, they've all got their benefits. The Adventure is fantastic if you want some legs. I mean, you don't realise how fast it is until you got a mate behind you saying, you know, and he's got the Mirage Drive, so he's got the full kit, but I had a friend in a Sport not long ago, and he was saying, slow down. I was in the Adventure, and I am going slow. So if you need to cover miles, definitely the Adventure. So it's all about what sort of fish you're going to target in what area, I guess. For me, the Mirage Drive just brought me back to kayak fishing.
All right, let's say something about safety. Make it a practice to become a student of kayak safety. Check the Hobie website out, check out other websites, study it. Weather, wind. In Southern California, if there's an offshore wind, Santa Ana winds, we just don't go out. We sure as heck don't want to be blowing out to sea. By law in our state, you have to have a whistle. And if you're going to use the whistle in an emergency, 3 rapid blasts of the whistle, 3 whistles in succession, and the Coast Guard and others will know that that's a symbol for danger. Another thing you can do when you're on the water is hold that paddle straight up in the air, and that'll get someone's attention. They'll know that you're looking for a little help. Study kayak safety. When you begin, stay in the bays, stay in here, stay on the lakes. You don't need to go out into the ocean day one. And always paddle with a buddy. Mike and I have been doing this forever, and we go out together. Don't just go out by yourself. Have someone with you. Very important that you file a float plan. That just simply means that you let wife, friends, lovers, whatever, know where you are, when you expect to be back. If you're not back, they can get some help. I like to take a flashlight out with me. If we ever get caught out at night, nice to have a little light. Makes me feel more comfortable. So know your limits. Go out, paddle, enjoy, go with a buddy, PFD. Hope you have a great time, and both Mike and I would like to fish with you soon.